Patriots touchdown!
The Patriots Pregame Show is the world's largest virtual tailgate, featuring fans of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Fires down the middle for Gordon, reaches up, extends, slams to the end zone, between two defenders, touchdown, Patriots!
Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown are here to do the grilling as your hosts. This week, the Patriots are home against the Miami Dolphins.
James White tucks it under the right arm, cuts it upfield, driving forward, diving to the goal line! A touchdown! And a title for the Patriots!
I can't believe it!
Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown are here to get you ready for the game.
It's football time, fellas. Let's get into it.
Now, live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show presented by Dunkin.
Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome in. Patriots Pregame Show. It's Hardy, Mike Dussault, Tamara Brown, Paul Perillo. Here we are on this New Year's Day. Happy New Year. Merry New Year. Happy.
It's Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
In this country, we say Happy New Year.
We had good fun.
Thank you for correcting my English, which stinks.
An unseasonably warm New Year, too.
Let me tell you something.
Nice.
I don't hate it. Now, I also recognize it as being fake, and this isn't real, and we should probably recognize it as a precursor of horrible things on the way, just in general, in life.
Or we could have a positive day one of 365.
Okay.
And be happy about it.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
So it is a gorgeous day. The parking lot's filling up early here at Gillette Stadium as the Patriots get ready to take on the Dolphins. With a chance at the playoffs. Playoffs.
Still?
So you're saying there's a chance.
Oh, you win out, and I think you're in.
You're in.
That's it. You're 7-8 Patriots. If they win today and win next week against Buffalo, that's it. You're
Correct.
in.
I need a Patriots win today because my heart, and I'm sure everyone's listening, their heart can't take another emotional loss.
Last second.
I could take it.
I can't take another one.
Oh no, I can take it.
You must be heartless.
No, I'm not.
You're
heartless.
heartless.
No, I can. Because let me ask you this:
Mm-hmm.
you can't take it. Why? Because you think they're going to win today and win next week, and then get
painful.
into the playoffs and win a bunch of games.
No, I mean losing the way they did the past two games. Can't take
She
another
just
one
doesn't
of
want her
those.
heart ripped out at the
Can't
last
take another one of
moment.
those today.
Now I'm with you.
Can't take another one.
That would be horrific.
Yeah.
But don't tell me that you can't emotionally handle. I can't.
I just can't.
I can't imagine this team losing today. Oh, I can imagine.
Oh,
it.
I can imagine it, but I hope it doesn't happen in the way it's happened the past two games.
Yeah.
Fair.
Especially for those of us who are writing something and then all of a sudden have to completely change everything you've written up to that point.
He said that's all about. It
all
always
about me.
comes
It's always
back to
about
that.
him.
It's about
It's
me.
always about him.
Me
But
and my
your-
works.
About your little story.
workings. My
Yeah,
little
have to
stories.
rewrite your little
Some little
story.
stories. Some friends become enemies.
Are you working for the school paper?
Do you have to rewrite your lead?
Yeah. Oh, a lead. I had to look that up. What that is.
Why is that-
I'm not classically trained.
So I am. I have a journalism degree from the
Big J.
Michigan State University.
Big J.
You're a big
Cool
J
story,
journalist.
Hansel.
I am.
You know,
Up yours, Morel. Happy New Year.
I really, it's like a big pet peeve of mine when people add "the" in front of their school's name the way you did.
The.
Like when people are like,
Well,
Who else does it? Oh, does
Ohio
Michigan?
State is
Oh.
"the,
The.
They're the
Ohio
only
State
one, right?
University."
well,
you
but
guys do.
that's the official
It's-
name of the school.
Yeah. I haven't. But do other schools do it? They try
Well,
to.
he
don't
just
know.
did it.
I did it
The
to be a jerk.
To make fun of Ohio State, I assume.
Yes. Yeah.
Sparty.
But
Spotty.
Ohio State. Look,
Well, tough
talk
one.
about it. Talk about it. A day of football.
Yeah.
And some
I
contrast.
really don't want to talk about it.
Well, some contrast in some
missed it.
in those games yesterday. Good grief! But getting back to the lead, it's LEDE, correct?
Yeah.
What is that?
Technically.
What is that word?
Lede.
Lead.
Yeah, but what does it mean? Because even like in
Lead.
school,
Start of the story.
Gonna lead off the
but
article.
why is it?
Your hook.
Why is
Your
it?
hook to get
I know
to get
what
the reader in.
What does that word mean? Why is it not LEAD?
I don't know.
As in lead. You're a lead.
You
You
think
guys
in
got
4
the
years?
journalism degrees
You think
over
in
there.
4 years?
I know.
4 years and my BS is,
Wasn't that a whole class like
Kicking in.
Ledes 101?
Is it Latin? We need.
from the Latin to lead. Say no, thank you.
No,
Just push away.
shun.
I don't need it. To shun.
It's got nothing to do with
Push
this
away.
word. Let's get it out.
Doesn't
of here.
even belong in the word. Wow, we are off the rails. 5 minutes in.
We
Can you
are.
Can you handle a loss
let's
today
go.
from your Patriots, Deuce?
Yeah. I mean,
I could expect anything.
Well,
I
mean,
really could.
Look.
To Teddy Bridgewater though, you would be
No. Everybody's seen this team play. Do you think that
Yeah.
do you think it's a lock that they're gonna do Teddy Bridgewater? And I think that it's lined up well for them to have to face him instead of Tua. You haven't beaten Tua yet. You get to this point in the season. I mean, I just the sense around the team I got this week was just, I think what we all kind of expressed was just kind of like, I can't believe we're still in it. Like, just like, hey, let's just put the past behind us and try to put together one game today. Like that. That's all they're really thinking about and focusing on. So, but it's hard to think that at this point in the season with 2 games left that you're suddenly going to see a performance that changes how you feel about this team. I mean, generally it's probably, if they win it, it's going to go like when they usually win the games and they avoid the major mistakes, and I think they're able to get up to a good start
playing a starting quarterback.
right? And that's
the best thing you have
certainly
going
part of
for
it.
you today.
Yep.
By the way, I have some
Looking
clarification.
to go to 8-0.
Yes, lead, L-E-D-E. That was an alternative spelling of L-E-A-D, but at some point they just started using L-E-D-E for journalism, and that's
I'm
just
glad you
used for
clarified
that
that.
now.
There you
Go ahead, play one of your goofy sound drops
Cool
now, Morel. I
story,
dare you.
Hansel.
I dare you.
You know I don't speak Spanish.
That was a good one. All right. So I think we could all handle the loss today. Nobody wants to see the gut punch type of loss that Tamara mentioned earlier. But I think we could all envision the Patriots not winning a football game.
Yeah.
Even today against Teddy Bridgewater and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I will say though, the one I guess kind of highlight, it's kind of a little light still, seeing the way the team was able to come back in the second half. Honestly, I wasn't expecting that last week. I thought the game was over at halftime. I didn't think that they were going to be able to turn it around. And
showed some fight.
obviously without that fumble at the end, they might have been able to do what haven't seen them do all year, and that's come back from being down. Mike's been saying that all year. We haven't seen them fight through adversity and be able to come back, from being down multiple scores. They've
been nipping at the heels of here and there. I mean, I agree. I think the point that they haven't just totally mailed it in. Although I kind of felt like in the first half it kind of felt like they were mailing it in. And then the second half, things started to break their way. I know we'll get in the keys for a second. That's kind of why I picked mine.
Well, let's get to the keys right now, shall we?
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to. You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker.
You leave the keys up on the table. You wanted to. You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now, just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, Mike, and Tamara's keys to the game.
Why did I steal your key to the game also?
You have the key. You have the right one.
Keys to the game for today's game between the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. We will share these keys with the team listening in the locker room right now so that they may emerge victorious from this football contest this afternoon. We begin with Paul Perillo. Paul, please, your key to today's game.
Well, we talked about the backup quarterback, right? Teddy Bridgewater. I think you need to get after him. You need to pressure him. You need to make him uncomfortable. Don't let him settle in. And in terms of the backup quarterbacks, we talked about this a little bit during the course of this week. He's probably not at the level of most of the backups that they faced. He has some starting experience and has had some success as a starter, unlike, Sam Ellinger, as an example. So I think you need to get him a little uncomfortable, and my Hardy-like pun to go along with that was give Teddy no bridge over troubled waters.
I like that.
I see what you
Thanks,
did there.
Hardy.
Yeah.
Very good.
But basically, it's just to get some pressure on the passer. I think that's been the strength of the defense. I think when Judon and Uche are not able to get pressure on the passer, that the secondary is completely and utterly powerless to stop anybody, especially given the injury concerns, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that during the course of the pregame show in the secondary.
Yeah.
Do you feel like maybe you owe me some more credit or thank you for coming up with these very catchy, pithy, punny keys to the game? I mean, I am your muse for these things.
You are.
Okay.
He's just preemptive striking.
I just love you in every regard. I mean, you
I'm
just
sensing a moment here.
it's a
Happy New Year.
happy New Year.
It is a happy New Year.
Happy
a
New Year,
happy
buddy.
New Year.
You guys
Tamara-
want a hug or anything?
No.
Or
There will be no hugging. Tamara, what is your key to today's game?
Mine is not great and punny like Hardy. Mine is very boring. But it's don't let up. I think that when you look at the last 2 games of the season, it's easy to just pack it up and call it quits and try to start again next year. But I think that, we've seen that they're capable and have the ability to fight through perseverance, but now we just need to see them finish. So I think that I'm hoping that they can take some of the energy from the last 2 games, especially the second half last week, and just continue to build on that and actually finish a game. I think that, at the beginning of this week, it was kind of scary seeing all the secondary, dropping like flies, but it looks like things could hopefully turn around today to have some of them active. So I'm hoping that they can come away with a win today. They're catching a break, not facing Tua, so I want them to just keep working hard. Don't give up. They have a chance.
Full disclosure, I initially did not care for your key. I thought it was
weak,
speaking to a team that was somehow going to play with the lead and then let their foot off the gas.
No.
But you mentioned a couple of things there, and you mentioned earlier about the way they came back in the second half. Even if you're down, don't let up.
Yeah.
Don't give up on the game, especially against this team today with Teddy Bridgewater. I think if you remain engaged and whether by miracle of all miracles, you're playing with the lead late into the game, or even if you're trailing,
This guy.
Yeah.
I don't
Either
have
way,
a lot. I don't have a
yes.
lot of confidence.
Yeah, either way, I'm like, I don't want them to give up on the season. They still have a chance to make the playoffs.
Good.
They have a chance to beat this Dolphins team.
Yes.
It's like,
Bit more.
keep trying.
Yes.
Push.
Keep trying.
Almost there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep trying.
Yes.
Like it.
What do you got for us, Deuce?
So I got start fast. And, I mean, sometimes these keys are just like a rigmarole, or don't turn it over, or, finish strong. I mean, I think
Sometimes
there's
it's something you just text him at to get him off your back.
Right.
You
Leave
don't
me
give
alone.
him a
It
lot
wasn't
of thought.
pithy. It wasn't smart. But I think the last couple of weeks you've seen them come out, fall into huge holes, and would just like to see them come out, play hard, and get off to a good start and see what that looks like. Get have a first drive where they execute well and they go right down the field and they score a touchdown. What does their confidence look like after that? I totally agree with Tamara's point where I don't think they're going to get a win today unless they really close it out and play well in the fourth quarter. But I just want to see here as we get down to the end a team that comes out and looks like, hey, we're ready to play. We know what's on the line, and see some good football from them right out of the gate, just to establish what how the game's going to unfold a little bit, and just to see how they perform like that. I feel like we were just watching them so long, kind of struggling. You saw it a little bit against Minnesota where good start, back and forth a little bit. They were kind of in it down till the end. Maybe you can get another game like that.
How you feel about Deuce's key, Paul?
I think his point about getting off to a better start is important because they keep falling behind, and then we keep talking about their inability to come from behind and play that way. That's not the way they're built. So I'll give them a
C.
B minus.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds about like high school for me. Thanks.
I give you
You
all
went
a
to
B.
Holy Cross, guy. It's way better than the school I went
I
to.
was really good at hockey.
If I do say so myself.
I wasn't that good.
I give you all a C minus for missing the obvious key to the game, which is hydrate like camels and beat those sea mammals.
Oh, my God.
Mammals.
Mammals.
Hydrate like camels and beat those sea mammals. Now, this to me is the most obvious key to today's game.
I don't know how I missed it.
I don't know how everyone missed it. You need to hydrate, you knuckleheads. I don't know.
Coming off of New Year's Eve, you can eat.
It was very.
There you go.
Listen to me.
I like that.
Is it all coming together now?
Up until yesterday, yes, actually, thank you. Hungover, dehydrated. Up until yesterday, the air was very, very dry. I found that I noticed it in my dog more than anything else, drinking more water than she had been in previous months. Very dry, having to hydrate. You got to hydrate today. So, guys in the locker room, hydrate before you head out there today, okay? That's your key to the game.
Didn't even occur to me.
Hey, Morel, go ahead and shake your head at me again. I dare you. Let's see what happens. Let's start the new year off with a bang.
Oh, you want some?
No,
the
I
camera could see me doing this.
Don't want none.
Well, that is that is my key. Those are the keys to the game as the Patriots get ready to host the Dolphins. What do you got there, Deuce?
Would it be all right, just real quick, I'll run down what happened yesterday with some of the personnel moves because I do think, as Paul alluded to, there were some
We're going to go behind enemy
significant
lines in about 30 seconds. Can you give
but
it to
the
us
situation
quickly?
in the secondary is a
big.
huge story.
It's
Jack
big.
Jack
Because
Jones.
everybody's out.
Yeah, Jack Jones went to IR, and they promoted 39 Tay Hayes, veteran guy who's been around a little bit, played earlier this year for Carolina. We saw him in training camp, so he'll be up. And Quandre Mosley from the practice squad also elevated. So 2 guys coming making their debuts today.
I mean, these are the things that you look at and say for today, well, at least we got Teddy Bridgewater, and there's a chance that this doesn't affect us. If you want to look ahead, and we have the luxury of looking forward to next week, I mean, how do you, even if you get one guy back, you're not getting Jones back as he goes onto the IR.
No Jack Jones, no Marcus Jones.
And,
No Marcus
Jalen Mills did come back to practice on Friday. He's had 1 day of practice, so he's
But he's
questionable.
been
We don't even know.
And Adrian Phillips was out 1 day, but then he came back.
Yeah.
So
And can you tell me what's going on with Mills? I thought Mills was going to be out for a couple of weeks, like many weeks ago.
I
No
don't know.
idea.
I don't know. So we'll see. That's a big name to watch this afternoon when it comes up.
And that's where it really becomes problematic when you allow yourself to think a week out and say, like, well, for today you might be able to get away with it. You're going to be able to get away with it next week?
Just survive today somehow.
It's tough to envision that. All right, let's go behind enemy lines. Here we go.
You know the view from New England,
We go behind enemy lines.
but what about the view from the other side?
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that. Oh, yeah. I was on with you guys in 2018 Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
And I was told I was the favorite guest of the show.
Nope.
No.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
My God, it's coming right for us.
Our friend of many conversations over the years, Alan Poupart from Sports Illustrated, Miami Dolphins, at Poupart, that's Poupart NFL on Twitter. Alan, thanks for joining us. It's Hardy, Deuce, Tamara, and Paul. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, everyone. Am I in the top 5 yet?
I would say.
Yeah,
see.
you're
We'll see today.
strongly in the top 5, mostly out of just the frequency that you join the program.
Yeah,
I would say your performances, Alan, are just kind of there. But the fact that you're willing to come on with us twice a year, every year, definitely vaults you up the standings. No one ever will be John McClain. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's retired.
I'll not to mail it in today then.
Yeah, but you're like, I wouldn't say you're Steve Martin hosting Saturday Night Live. You're more like Alec Baldwin. You've hosted a lot, and people like you. Are you Steve Martin? No, but who is? John McClain. You're very close.
That's a good point.
You're very close.
Very close.
Very close.
Deuce, why don't you lead us
I'll
off?
kick us out. Hey, Alan, just your thoughts on Teddy Bridgewater today, what to kind of expect from him and how you might see the offense being a little bit different going from him from Tua.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure I would expect the offense to be any different. I have written and said on other outlets that I don't think the expected drop-off that a lot of people seem to think is a certainty from Tua to Teddy Bridgewater is nearly as significant as it's made out to be. And I go back to Bridgewater's last appearance, not his first start, because his first start with the Dolphins basically was one play. But the last time he played was Week 6 against Minnesota, passed for 329 yards after coming in early in the second quarter to replace Skylar Thompson. And this was with Teron Armstead out of the lineup, a guy whose presence makes the offensive line stable. And if you looked at the way the Dolphins were moving the ball, particularly in the fourth quarter when they started coming back, it looks an awful lot like it's looked with Tua at quarterback. So while I don't want to take anything away from Tua in the season that he had, which for the most part was very, very good, I think we're being naive if we don't think that a lot of it is the scheme, the design, and most importantly, that stupid speed they have outside with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
yeah. Hi. My question is more so on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously the Patriots offense has had its struggles throughout the season, just trying to get a rhythm going. How do you see the Dolphins defense faring against them today?
Yeah, and if you remember the opener at Hard Rock Stadium, it was more than anything else the defense that won the game for the Dolphins. I mean, it was 20-7, and that included a defensive touchdown for the Dolphins. And the thing is that the Dolphins defense has had some good performances, as practically every one of them has come at home. The defense has not traveled well, and that's been a major problem. And the hope is that it changes today. Now, the Dolphins have not blitzed as frequently throughout the season as they did the past 2 years, and maybe, if I recall correctly, as they did in that opener, and that touchdown came on the blitz. And maybe they go back to that today because Mac Jones isn't Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, or Aaron Rodgers, who really can make you pay if you blitz and you don't get home very quickly. So I would suspect more blitzing from the Dolphins than we've seen for most of the season. And for their sake, this is the game where the defense has a signature performance on the road.
Alan, I'm just curious what your thoughts are on the team's mindset. Obviously, they were 8-3, and it looked like they were a lock to make the playoffs. Now they have to find a way to win these last 2 games after losing 4 in a row. So where do you think the team is mentally in this 4-game losing streak, and just how much has the confidence been affected?
Yeah, it'd be impossible to think that it's not been affected. Of course, when you see the Dolphins, either in the players in the locker room, you wouldn't notice any difference from when they were 8-3 to now. And when they talk to the media, certainly the last thing they're going to do is show signs that their confidence has been shaken. But you lose 4 in a row, I think it's human nature to start wondering a little bit. But like you mentioned, they still control their fate, not destiny, because destiny is predetermined, but they still control their fate as far as making the playoffs.
Deep. Alan, you just moved up a couple spots. That was really deep.
I love it.
That was really deep. You might be top 3 now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yes.
I like it.
Good job.
So having said all that, is realistically, no offense to you fine folks in New England, but I don't think anybody expects the Patriots, even if they beat the Dolphins today, to win at Buffalo next week, which puts the Dolphins in a situation where they technically could lose today and still make the playoffs as long as they beat the Jets. So, again, the fact that they control their fate has to be the biggest thing for them heading into this game.
Shows what you know, Alan.
I'm
picking the Pats to win today and next week. Pats Nation.
Yeah, I don't think that's right though. I think if Miami loses this game today, so they'll need the Patriots to lose and beat the Jets. Okay,
they'll need help. Yeah,
okay, they'll need help. Yeah.
Just
Correct.
Real quickly, Alan, because you mentioned the confidence in the locker room, and you wouldn't know the difference from the players. What about from the coach? Because, as streaky as this team has been, the Dolphins, all they do is win a bunch in a row or lose a bunch in a row. I mean, there's no back and forth week to week. So as hot and cold as the team may be running, okay, consistently their mood is still good in the locker room. What about Mike McDaniel? How has he been? Have you seen anything change with him throughout the course of this season?
No, not whatsoever, and I wouldn't have expected him to. And he's not. He's very cerebral, a lot more than he is emotional.
Yep.
In terms of his leadership style, so he's going to be one of those who's going to microanalyze everything and basically certainly make that realization that, hey, okay, we're on a 4-game losing streak. Big picture, we're 8-7, and we currently have the final spot in the AFC playoffs. And you mentioned the Dolphins as a streaky team. And if you recall, they were certainly streaky last year when they started 1-7 and won 7 in a row. And the one common denominator between last year and this year is their ability to take advantage of the soft portion of their schedule. You look at their 5-game winning streak this year,
right,
that got them from 3-3 to 83. Well, it's Pittsburgh, Chicago, Detroit, Houston, and Cleveland. What do those teams have in common? None of them has a winning record.
Right.
What the Dolphins are 2-5 against teams that currently have a winning record. The only 2 teams they beat were Baltimore and Buffalo back in September. And now they're playing the last 2 teams currently are 7-8.
Well, it's going to make for some interesting football here both this week and next week. But before we let you go, we have to ask you for a score prediction. You know the drill by now. An exact score prediction for the game today.
Yeah, I actually publish that every Saturday, and as I look back on it, I think my final score was too low, but I had the Dolphins winning. I made it 19-17. Now I'm thinking maybe it's going to be perhaps a little bit higher scoring than that, but I had the Dolphins winning a close one.
Okay. Very good. Alan, always good to talk to you. Now top 3, according to Paul Perillo.
I made that executive decision.
Judge.
Yeah, congratulations on your ascension in the rankings.
Excellent. When do I get my prize?
Next season.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, Alan.
Yeah.
Up in the press box.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, Alan. We'll talk
Happy
to you
New
later.
Year.
See you later.
Happy New Year, everyone.
There we go.
Good guy.
Alan,
Good guy. He's come on with us probably more than anybody else.
Yeah.
It helps to have a guy who's in the division. So
yes,
twice a year.
Just a little update. Mark Daniels saying no sign of Jalen Mills yet. Inactives will be coming out 11:30, so
okay,
probably not great.
All right, we'll keep an eye on
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I think the secondary is. I think that could be a real mitigating factor with the whole backup quarterback thing. And I know what Alan's saying. Like, he doesn't feel like there's a huge drop off between Tua and Bridgewater. I think there is. I think it's hard to expect a guy who hasn't really played all year to just step in and run the offense as efficiently as the guy who was playing at a borderline MVP level for about 10 weeks.
Yep.
So I do think there's a big drop off. But the fact that you might have you might have to go like strict zones today, because you can't ask these kids that you're bringing up off the practice squad to go out and lock up with Tyreek Hill. It's going to be Miles Bryant, probably Jonathan Jones. I think I don't know why I just automatically deem some guys who are questionable as good, they're going to play, and other guys no. I'm not expecting Mills. I am expecting Jonathan Jones. But if you have Jonathan Jones and Miles Bryant, who else? Shaun Wade?
Yeah, Shaun
Wade's played like 20 plays all year.
Yeah. And I wonder if you almost play a little bit with Miles Bryant, if you move him to the outside, just because he's not big, but at least he's got some speed to him. He's been playing all the slot this year. I don't know. They're scrambling up against it right now.
That's
trying
a
to figure out
problem.
how to match up against
That's
these
definitely
guys.
a problematic situation for that secondary. And you wonder just with that speed, if you get a guy who's not quite sure of where he's supposed to be and when. That's when the short passes become big plays.
Yeah, and even more problematic when, if you believe what Alan Papar said, was that, well, how's the offense going to be different? I don't think it's going to look that much different. Oh,
if he's right about that, the Patriots could be in trouble.
They could be.
If Bridgewater is able to run the offense the same way now, personally, if I were Miami, I look at some of their numbers. I just want to get them right here. Okay, so. They're one of the lowest teams in terms of team rushing in football. And that's largely because they don't run the ball. But when they do, Raheem Mostert averages 4.9 yards a carry, and Jeff Wilson averages 5.2 yards a carry. If I were the Dolphins with my backup quarterback on January 1st, and I know it's not necessarily January 1st weather here today, it's in the 50s, I would make these guys show that they can stop the run. They're going to have a bunch of defensive backs out there, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to be, I think, flooding zones. You're probably going to see a bunch of the safeties on the field. You'll see Peppers and Phillips, with Duggar and McCourty.
Some Peppers, yeah.
If I'm Miami, those guys are big play running backs. Unlike, most teams that run the ball a lot. These guys are capable of making big plays. I would see if they can make some plays on the ground and try to do it that way if I were Miami.
Seems reasonable, but, if the temptation might be too much, Paul, it's like, we look at Bridgewater, last few days, things look normal, and we've still got Tyreek. Let's just go out there and let's just hang a bunch of points on
And in fairness,
early.
I might be singing a different tune in the postgame if Teddy Bridgewater goes out and does what Alan said that he did against Minnesota, throws for 330 yards. Oh. And I'd be saying, geez, why was I wasting my time overthinking it? Yeah. Just let him throw it.
All right. Well, let's get to the phone calls here, shall we? 855-PATS-500. Get to some of these emails, too, at webradio@patriots.com. We begin with Pat in Agawam. Pat, you're up first here on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. What's going on?
Merry New Year!
Happy New Year. In this country, we say Happy New Year.
You still going, Patty?
So what's going on, everyone?
No, he's not going to keep it going. All right, go ahead.
All right, so Paul kind of stole my key to the game where I think Teddy Bridgewater, he's a good backup, but I don't think he's the athlete that Tua is. So I think if they can get pressure on him, I think they, with this depleted secondary, I think they might be all right. And how about, I know we've been saying this for a few weeks, or, at least I've been saying this, how about throwing in like a double pass or couple of trick plays? I don't know. I mean, maybe Bill's afraid that the guys are going to run into each other downfield, but how's that different from any other freaking play that they run? So, but, more personally, like Paul, the Dolphins are my NFL Yankees. I want them to win this game. the Patriots. I mean, and I think they'll pull it out. I'm going with a very close 24-23 Patriots win. They squeak this one out on the leg of Nick Folk. There you go, Hardy.
Oh, I like that.
That's your boy.
How about that? He needs a good week. You mentioned the weather thing here earlier. I mean, does it just kind of like equal things out here? Normally, you would be looking at a January game for the Dolphins up here in Gillette Stadium as advantage Patriots. But if something is going to level the playing field, normally you say, well, that works to Bill Belichick's advantage. Not in this case. No, this actually hurts your chances.
No,
today.
I think the Patriots are benefited by bad weather, especially against teams like Miami that are more finesse kind of oriented. I think that they have speed. I mean, even if it's let's just say it was cold, doesn't it stand to reason that if you have a bunch of speedsters and it's like 20 degrees, it's a little harder to accentuate that speed?
Sure.
I mean, I think it definitely is. I thought for a month I was thinking to myself, Tua throwing the ball on January 1st in Foxborough is not going to be a good thing. I don't think it'll be a huge problem based on the way the weather is right now.
No, and I mean it's easy back when you had a quarterback that you knew could win in that kind of weather, and now it's. I think Mac's still finding his way in this kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think it's a somewhat levels the two playing field for somewhat. I think the Patriots lose some of what they do, and I think the Dolphins, like Paul said, lose a little bit of what they do. But I mean, I'm glad it's not a weather game. I think
it's not
with
a
the backup,
it's not
with the
gonna
backup
be,
quarterback enough.
It's not a huge weather game. I don't think there might be a little wind, and maybe that affects a field goal. And Jason Saunders, by the way,
it was windy walking.
Jason Sanders, the Dolphins kicker, has kind of struggled a little bit down the stretch. He's been a little erratic. He missed a big one last week that would have tied the Packers game.
Let's go to Floyd in Michigan. Floyd, you're up next here on Patriots Pregame Show. How you doing, Floyd?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Floyd.
Hi, Floyd.
Can we talk business today?
Yeah.
Business. Let's go.
I'm watching Get Up, which I normally don't watch, but I was watching a segment of Get Up. Rob Ninkovich said that there's weird times in New England. Normally a sellout, there were 20,000 open seats. Uh-oh. So I'm assuming that he was making an estimate, and I'm also thinking that this was the Bengals game.
He's talking about last week, yeah.
Last
week there were a lot of empty seats.
Yep.
Now, it was really cold, and it was Christmas Eve. So, I mean, I don't know if that's something to look for down, moving forward. But, yeah, I think it is a concern, and you'd be lying to yourself if you didn't think that the Kraft family saw all those empty seats last week and just said, oh, nothing to worry about. Mm-hmm. No.
See,
that's
you're Mr. Perillo, you're going to where I'm going. Since 2020, 24, the Patriots are 24-24. Top 25, under 25, you've got nobody on there. Patriots were recently just flexed out of prime time. Here's the final thing I want to say. So the caller calls into Patriots Unfiltered this week, and the gentleman says, I don't care if we suck for 10 years. Bill Belichick has done so much for this organization, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And Mike, to his credit, says, well, this is business. He says something like, you want to keep a positive buzz around the team. And I want to press that point that it's okay for the fans to be emotional and, hey, feelings and all the past achievement. But Mr. Kraft shouldn't be basing it on that. He's got business to focus on based on some of the facts I just quoted. Please tell me what your thoughts are.
Well, thanks for the call, Floyd. You want to address this first?
Well, I mean, that was, you said we did address it a little bit. I mean, just to continue on that road, I mean, Mr. Kraft's in his 80s. Do you think he wants to spend 10 years watching just middling football because Bill did well? I mean, I think he wants to feel like the franchise is going in the right direction. So
just bought a condo, too.
It feeds into Paul's point. There's more than wins and losses, on the field. I mean, there's only one team a year that's going to win the Super Bowl. Other teams have to find a way to generate fan interest. And it's a new challenging era now. You had 20 years years where it kind of worked for you. You had, kids growing up around here. God, everybody loves Tom Brady growing up. I mean, it was a machine that fed itself. And I think you're getting to a point now where, to Floyd's point, when you don't really have those star marquee players to build around, when you're not winning a lot of games, when you're not having those big playoff games to bring people in, those are things that hurt the franchise. And you need to, even there are teams that, look at Jacksonville, they're kind of right where the Patriots are too, fighting for a playoff spot, 500-ish record, but they have some excitement. They have some young players that people are, excited about and that are going to put butts in the seats and sell stuff. And I think those are really important things to the ownership is having, the franchise be successful.
And some of the reasons why Jacksonville has sort of had a late season resurgence is the play of the quarterback too. And I think, we talk a lot in sort of like we talk just in general terms in the offseason, like what would be a good season? Well, I don't, it's not necessarily about the record, but is Mac Jones making we talk about that all the time. And I think that we'd all agree, for whatever reason, you can blame it all on the coaches. I don't care. Whatever, there hasn't been a lot of progress, right? Everybody would agree it's been
treading water.
It's been a year to regression for Mac Jones. Again, you can say it's on him. You could say it's on Patricia. You could say it's on Belichick. Whatever the reason, I think that's why people are sort of, less enthusiastic about the way things are finishing here. And, for Jacksonville, I don't think Jacksonville's a great team, but I do think they have some young players that have been a key part of them winning some games down the stretch. Most, importantly, their quarterback looks like the guy that was worthy of the number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
Floyd mentioned the seeing Rob Ninkovich and what he had said and, the business of things. I saw Rob last week and just out in the hallway outside the booth, and he said something that kind of reminded me of something that we all heard Julian Edelman say when he was kind of making the rounds in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. Both, not maybe in so many words, but indicated that they were seeing things from the Patriots right now that they didn't recognize. Yeah. They don't recognize what they see on the field, both offensively and at times, I think for Rob, defensively, from what they remember as being a part of this team. And whether it's talent, whether it's coaching, whatever. So when you talk about it from a business perspective, it was cold last week and it was Christmas Eve. It wasn't all that long ago where that would not have mattered. Maybe that would have meant, there are actually a few hundred empty seats up there. Can you believe it? Not 20,000. Yeah. And that is, at some point, it may come down to some business decisions for ownership and, what they want this team and this franchise and this name to mean. Because when you have a couple of guys from the era looking back at it and saying, I don't know what this Patriots stand. This isn't the Patriots that I played for.
And I don't want to overstate it either. But the worst thing that you can have is apathy. When we're talking about there were, and I think it was about 18,000 empty seats on Christmas Eve. So that means 18,000 people paid for their ticket and chose not to go. That to me is the definition of apathy. It wasn't like those seats weren't sold.
Yeah.
So I do think it. I don't want to overstate it, like I said, because it might be a one-off. It might be the holiday. It might be we know they're not a great team. We know if they were really good, it would have been 66,000 like always. Despite the weather, despite the fact that it was Christmas Eve, they haven't played great. They haven't played great at home. In particular, they have a worse record at home than on the road, and neither one of them has been good.
Yeah, and I tie it back to training camp too. This is something that your radar is up for. Are people still coming out for the free practices? Those
point,
kind of
Mike.
things, And
Mike's the hype man.
I am the hype man.
You know that? Mike is the hype man at training camp.
I get him hype, but sometimes it's a little harder.
How does he get them hyped?
Do
you know, like when the Undertaker comes out for like a match?
Yeah,
kind of like that.
The music.
I thought that was Fitzy.
The lights.
Fitzy is not down there. That was Sarge.
Yeah, me.
Sarge here.
It's me and Sarge and TB.
Sup, Zo?
We do a little Q&A. We tell people what to look for. Get them all riled up.
And
I find the one guy who's not getting off in the audience, and I make him get off.
Right.
Actually, that you can print.
Beg your pardon. I think that's a really good point, and I hadn't really thought of that. But I would say that this year it's hard because in recent years we've been dealing with COVID. but I would say this year was consistently the smallest crowds that we've had at training camp. Training camp is a great take.
And that's free in the summer.
People just sitting around on a nice day watching practice.
These are the things your radar's up for.
Right. And look, as an owner, somebody who is like an actual team owner, as Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft are, they are here. They are present. They are in the building, and they are, a part of this. That is going to affect them more, things like that, than I would say, to be fair, maybe it really should. Because when you talk about apathy, I think it's a long way off before any real apathy affects the bottom line of the team.
Right. And that's why I don't want to overstate it. And that's why I said
it's not going to affect TV contracts for the NFL. It's probably not going to affect you, really bottom line wise year in and year out. If your ticket sales are a little bit off or advertise, that's a long way out. But if you are here and as present as these owners are, they're going to take those things and they're probably going to weigh them more heavily than other owners might, because they are here and they witness it and they see for themselves. How come there's only like 800 people at a free training camp thing here? We used to put 3,000 people in these stands. Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, and it wasn't every day, but it was consistently smaller than normal.
Yes.
In training camp. And
a couple of times toward the end where there were like 15
and we had pretty good weather this year too. There weren't a lot of rainy days.
Well,
it will eventually, it's not going to do the ticket bottom line, the ticket sales bottom line, but if you have 15, 20,000 people fewer in the stadium, that's going to affect your food and beverage. And
right. And those tickets aren't, and it's another thing, those tickets aren't sold. I think we're a long way off from those tickets not being sold.
No, the waiting list is still,
and I think
robust.
Today will be interesting to see because it's a nice day. It's New Year's Day. It's I think today you could see a little bit of a bounce back.
Today's
and
not
a nice
really
crowd.
even. Yeah, it's not like a holiday.
Happy New Year.
It's a regular Sunday. It's a nice day weather-wise. No reason not to be here.
Let's go to Fitzy. Is it the Fitzy in Uxbridge? Probably not.
No.
Hello.
Hi, Fitzy.
Hi, guys. Hey, what does this Patriots offense have to lose? Could they possibly flip the switch, and could we see something completely different?
Like what?
I wish. I've given
like
up.
Give me an example.
Thinking it.
Could we see a no huddle? Could we see them empty the bucket and use everything in the playbook and be something different?
I think you've seen all those things during the course of the year. I mean, maybe you have a different trick play. Like I think Patty said, a double patch or something. Like a different element but they've used no huddle. They've used, 2 tight ends. They've used 1 tight end. They've used no tight ends. They've had 3 guys in the backfield. Like I've seen a lot of different stuff. I haven't seen consistent
production. It's also sporadic.
I haven't seen consistent
sporadic
production.
in usage and sporadic in effectiveness too. And they go to stuff and away from stuff on a whim. I think the trick play thing is just interesting. They haven't tried any of that stuff this year.
Now, Alan is right. The Dolphins' defense is not good on the road. They allow like 30 points a game in the road games. So I know we say it all the time. If not now, when? Like this is a bad defense you're playing. You should be able to move the ball.
All right, Fitzy. Appreciate the call. Thank you.
Well, I think it goes to Paul, to the point that we were talking about this week of just generally all of a sudden expecting them to do something that, you haven't seen yet. And it's just you hold out that hope through October into November, and now it just feels like this is who they are. Then that goes to just get a fast start, avoid the really stupid mistakes. Back to Ninkovic's point, that's the stuff that sticks out.
And
I
think
that they're
like different things in spurts. Like, it might not be like a double pass trick play, but, like, how about that play that they ran Jonnu Smith around the end against the Jets, and he fumbled it as he's running down the sideline? You remember that play?
Yep.
Like, that's a trick play. That was there. I think it was going to be a touchdown.
Let Jacoby throw a pass. I'd be down with that.
Yeah, why not? Joe in Florida says, Happy New Year. Highly unlikely we win next week, so we need to focus on grinding out a win today. I would actually flip that. I would say just in terms of how the rest of the season goes, go in today thinking you are going to win. Worry about grinding a win next week. But I don't want to get caught up in the semantics. He said we're going to need every other team. We will need every other team fighting for the last spot to lose 2 weeks in a row. As usual today, we will need defensive scores I'll take the over +1 and hope for at least 2. That is the only hope.
The inactives just came out. Most of them we already knew were out. Marcus Jones, but there are a couple of surprises here. Marcus Jones, Jonnu Smith, Devontae Parker, Jalen Mills, Sean Wade, Kevin Harris, and Sam Roberts.
You ain't playing, guy.
So Sean Wade is behind 2 practice squad call-ups, Mike?
Yep. Yeah, well, one guy who was officially Tay was
No, I
put
know,
on,
but
still.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
he came up from the practice squad.
Yeah. I guess we're not feeling great about Sean Wade. If you can't dress and play this week, that's not a great sign for him.
Not good.
Oh, good breaks though for the Patriots on the other side.
Yep.
Tua, Bradley Chubb, Eric Fisher, Xavier Howard, Teron Armstead. Those are
Armstead's a big
major pieces out of the Dolphins lineup today. That's a
and
big
that's
break.
with Armstead out left tackle. I mean, this is, of everything that's happened this year, just like the pass rush. That's a strength. Like that's the one thing I feel like. All right, that's pretty good. It can hold up. That I think they got to lead the way through these last 2 games. Those guys they have to take advantage of what they got with Bridgewater, what they got at left tackle, and immediately cause pressure, force turnovers, defensive scores, all that stuff.
Continuing with my theory of the midweek injuries are bad news. Like Xavier Howard was not on the injury report on Wednesday. All of a sudden showed up on Thursday with a knee injury, and he's not playing. That's a big loss for them. Bradley Chubb didn't practice. A lot of injuries there, and Teron Armstead was like that guy. Who did we have that year that had like 17 injuries? Armstead is listed with a toe, pec, knee, and a hip. Remember the Patriots had a guy with like
knees and toes,
yeah,
knees and toes.
Right. So those are enormous. I mean, not to say nothing of the fact that their quarterback's not playing.
To even take that out of it, this is like lining up just like the Patriots need. Like Patriots wins over the last 3 years when they got a bunch of key guys out. Like if they can't take advantage of this and break this losing streak against Miami, I'm not sure what it would take to get them over that hump.
All right, let's continue. Paul's got to step out here for a moment, but Deuce and I can stay here and talk to.
Can I
stay
say
here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What?
Well, as we're transitioning, I just wanted to. I wanted to put a little historical spin on things because I think that this game, like all the guys are out, so it's hard to say really make like Patriots Dolphins, but. You go back to that 2019 game. Go ahead, Hardy. Just have a donut. I'll handle this.
No, I'm just getting one ready for the break. There's a half a cake donut here. I'm going to eat it during the break.
For a long time, these games against Miami were always just like, does it mean anything? Are we just resting guys? And I know 2018 was the Miami Miracle down there, but 2019, you have a chance to win, to get a bye. Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in here and just unceremoniously knocks you off. I thought that game in 2019 was just, kind of symptomatic of the whole season, how it kind of, fell apart after that Baltimore loss, and they just couldn't really find their stride again on defense. But, you got them in the 2020 opener with Cam Newton, and you kind of swung it on them. But since then, you have not beaten these guys. And I think a lot of the mistakes have been, Damian Harris, we had a chance to go in the opener last year in 2021, and it felt like, hey, we're going to take it. Self-inflicted mistake, common theme for these Patriots the last couple of years. So, look at even the opener this year. They come out, they drive right down the field, we throw an interception, and then they take advantage and get a big lead again, 17-0. So, just recent history, these Dolphins have really just kind of had the Patriots number, and it's hard to read too much into this with all the injuries that they're going to have today. But I just love to see the Patriots be able to, finally kind of break that streak with the Dolphins and get back on track. Like, really establish yourself as, hey, we are a team that's competitive with these guys because, lately they've had their number.
Well, just mathematically, you should be able to beat this team.
Math. It's just simple math.
Yeah. How many have you lost to them now over the last 3 years?
I mean, 4 straight, and 5 out of 6. So
yes.
It's my understanding that there would be no math.
Well. No, in terms of like, let's face it, you got a 7-8 team and an 8-7 team. You got a team coming in here today. They're on your field with their backup quarterback. Just mathematically, you should beat this team today and not allow them to be, on the receiving end of more good fortune or a lame brain mistake. How about that? How about you just do that today? Just do what you should do today, which is beat this team on this field on this day with the 2 teams that are going to be out there.
It just feels like it's lining all up for the Patriots. This is just, this is them right now. Like they get a team like this without their quarterback, without their left tackle, without their best corner. Waddle and Hill are still a challenge, and you're going to have to tackle those guys, and you can't let them have big scores. But It's lining up nicely for New England today, I think.
Deshaun in somewhere Fred Kirsch is smiling just ear to ear. And now I'm being forced to take a break. They said you could go until you screwed up something really bad, Hardy, and somehow I'm being blamed for that. And now we have to break. That's fine. I'm going to eat this donut anyway, and I'm going to thank Bridgestone, the official tire of the New England Patriots. Proud to partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
$1 million for picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
Every play, every pass, every performance is perfected on the training field, producing critical data that's analyzed, measured, and studied. Acronis keeps that data safe and ensures it's there to use whenever and wherever it's needed.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com. Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
So, Tamara, you know how we do it on your birthday.
You are not about to sing me happy birthday.
You girl, and you know how we gonna sing it too.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
You guys are never going to let me live that down.
I was ready to be done talking about it, but since you brought it up, I do have a critique of that Happy Birthday song from last week.
What was wrong with it?
Were they on like multiple lines?
They were.
Okay, because there was a delay.
There was a delay.
It was a Happy Birthday and then Happy Birthday
Yes.
to you.
Yes.
I'm like, they can't get it together.
Bad mix.
But it was the digital
three-way
delay,
call.
three-way.
It's the thought that counts, Hardy. Come on.
Yeah, it's the thought that counts.
Called a melody.
It's not called melody has nothing to do with it. As a music person, I would think you would know.
Harmonies, my bad.
Careful. Oh, don't come at
It's
Hardy with
almost like they were
stuff,
singing
man.
in a round, like a row, row, row your boat type of thing.
Oh, my God.
Can I ask you guys a question while Paul's out of the room?
I love it.
I posted this earlier in the week.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever walked out of a movie?
Yeah, we talked about it actually. Murder by
What?
Numbers with Sandra Bullock.
You
was
talked
one
about
that-
it on Unfiltered?
We did. We had. Well, I don't know. We just had a quick conversation because you always have great questions like that.
Wait,
that
you mean like walked out of the movie theater?
walked out of a movie. It was
out
so
of a
bad.
movie theater. It was so bad. I walked
Yeah.
out of Babylon earlier this
Yeah.
week.
Just,
I've
I can't
never
do
done
it.
that.
What did it for you? Was there a particular moment that you just said? Nope.
I looked at Super Blonde to my wife, and 10 minutes into the movie, I said, if something doesn't happen soon, I leavin'. It was the first 15 minutes are torturous, and it gets worse from there. It's 3 hours long.
Oh, God.
The kids were at another movie in the same complex. Their movie started after ours. They were done before we were. And they were texting me like, are you guys almost done? Our movie's done. I said, I'm done. And I walked out to join. They're like, what's going on? I said, the worst movie ever made is being played in there, and your mother is still in there. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh,
We
so
may
she
have
made
to
it
leave her
through.
here.
She stayed for the whole thing?
No.
You were just like
no.
out in the lobby? Oh.
I went back in. I said, I'm going to wait out there with the kids because I can't do this anymore. And she lasted about 5 more minutes, and then we all left.
So, I have a question. What
That movie stinks like hot garbage.
did the previews like make
I
you
thought
want to go see it?
Yeah. Brad Pitt. It's kind of like Hollywood origin story, and like the going from silent films into talkies, and like how crazy Hollywood. I've seen it a million times before. Every character I've seen before, the story I've seen before. It
Margot
was
Robbie in it?
Yep.
Yeah. Who
Okay.
doesn't like
Not even
Margot
that good.
Robbie?
Not even
Okay,
that.
Love her.
so
I defy you to sit through that movie. You can't do it.
it
If I had
seems
paid
like
for a movie ticket,
it
I
seems
would've
like
sat
you were
my ass through the
correct,
whole
Hardy, because I just Googled it, like
Yeah.
Babylon review,
Yeah.
and it's a bad review on Rotten Tomatoes. So
Yeah, I didn't know that going in.
Yeah, my sister just chiming in that my mom made her and my other sister walk out of Parenthood. I'm like, what the hell? Why would you walk out of Parenthood?
I've never
it's
walked
a-
out of a movie.
Maybe a little bit
racy,
too much.
a little racy. So what did you walk out of?
Murder by Numbers with Sandra Bullock, which was like a 2000s movie that
Sandra.
was like, bleh, and
Wait, what's it
And then I
called?
also walked out of The Craft
Murder by what?
in the 90s.
Okay, so that was a horror movie.
Yeah, it was just
Witchcraft
like, this
horror
is
movie.
Stupid.
Murder by Numbers, Sandra Bullock. Who else was in it? Do you remember?
Some kid. I don't know. It was so bad.
Okay.
That was like in
Oh my God.
Westwood in L.A.
It has a 30 on Rotten Tomatoes out of 100.
We're talking
What's
about
the critic score?
Oh my God, hold on.
Cat was away. The mice were playing, talking about movies we've walked out of in the movie theater.
Yeah, Babylon's got 55% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
Wow.
Mike and I were talking about that because I had seen your tweet on that. I've done it a lot, but it's more so out of, when you're in high school and you have that one guy that that works at the movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
So like you pay for one and you go to like 6 different movies.
Right.
Movies that you never would have gone into, like Joe versus the Volcano is an example of a movie.
lot of people walked out of
I
that
walked
one.
out of that.
A lot of people did.
Dragnet, remember Dragnet? Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks.
I sat through it. It's not a good movie.
Not a good movie. I walked out of that one too. So I have but all of those I would say were movies that I would have never gone to see on my own.
Right.
But because
your buddy was working theater, you went to see Hannah and her sisters, and you decided this really isn't for us. Let's go.
Right. Does it really count though if you sneak in for free? Like I feel like to really count, you've got to have paid money to you really are like, you know what? It wasn't even worth it.
I think I may have paid money to see Dragnet, and I definitely walked out of that.
With Dan Aykroyd, that
yeah,
one? That
Dan
Dragnet?
Aykroyd and Tom Hanks. And I remember someone in the back, it was like 15, 20 minutes in, someone just went, "This movie effing sucks." and I looked at a couple of my friends. I go, "He's right.
He's right." Yeah.
And what is the protocol though? Because I think you can get a refund at certain theaters if
Wait,
it's like
really?
a certain time where you're just like, nope, not doing it, and they're supposed to refund your money. I thought. I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe
Wow.
someone's.
We'll have to look into that.
You'd really have to be like. Well, I mean, now that it's like $20 to get into a movie. I mean.
So it sounds like Tamara would never do it, and I don't think Morel would ever do it.
I walked out of Jaws. That was it.
Ooh.
Holy.
Okay.
I'll come
shots
right
fired.
through that glass."
I
Saw the
assure you,
remake in
sir.
The theaters, the re-release, garbage.
I have neither a fish to fry nor a goat to get. I will not allow you
Hardy.
to
Sir,
needle me.
That's out of order, sir. You owe the whole panel an apology.
Pushing my.
I've never walked out of a movie, but I also don't go to the movies that much. If I am going to the movies, it's to see like a Marvel movie.
Right.
Like,
I don't think it happens as much now. Like as you said, I think you so pick 'em.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to a movie, you're going to like Top Gun for the experience. You're not going to like I'll go check this out. But maybe that was what you guys did.
I wanted to walk out of Kill Bill, but we had gone out to dinner beforehand. We were too full and too lazy to like move.
Couldn't get up?
Yeah, but that movie was very disappointing. Not what I thought it would be. All right.
What did you think it was going to be? A Quentin Tarantino movie called Kill Bill?
I thought it would be good. And it was not.
Fair point.
It's not. It's not.
Can't comment. Didn't see it.
A lot of blood.
Yeah, not a good movie. It's just. It's like a comic book. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. All right, Deshaun in Virginia. Thank you so much for your patience, and we got you this time. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys? I got two things. I hear a lot about what the Patriots office should do. They should do this, they should do this, and that, or whatever. But you got to understand that the opposition is facing an offensive coordinator that was once a defensive coordinator, and the components of the offense is not that great. And then, secondly, do you guys would you guys rather have them lose and get a top 10 pick instead of going to the playoffs and getting blown out, potentially by 40?
I'd rather go to the playoffs.
I'd rather go to the playoffs. And if they lose out in the next two games, are they guaranteed a top 10 pick?
No.
At 7 and 10?
They could get in the top. Guaranteed, no, but they have a chance to be a top 10 pick if they lose both. But I just feel like, and Mike has been, I'm going to steal a little of Mike's thunder here. I think to win these two games is not just like beating Houston and Jacksonville to close the season. You're beating Miami and Buffalo, two teams you've had very little success against over the last 3 seasons. And I think that there'd be something to be gained by that if you were able to win 2 games that, in essence, were elimination games. And if you're able to do that and go to the playoffs and then it doesn't work out all that well in that wild card game, then okay. I think you could still sell it on progress in terms of getting up off the mat and having success against teams that – I think they've lost 4 in a row against Miami and whatever it is against Buffalo minus the wind game. 4 or 5 in a row against Buffalo with the exception of that one.
4 or 5, yeah.
So I think there's something to be gained by that.
Yeah.
I would say that, and I would also say if you really want a top 10 pick that bad, then could trade up and get it. If you're picking at 12, do whatever you have to do to trade up and get it.
That's another great point.
And 11 picks, probably with 3 potential comp picks. So you got a number of picks to play with, probably coming in this draft.
Just trade we identified that tackle or that receiver, somebody a real position of need, and the guy we want. Then go get him. You can go get him.
Yep.
You may not like having to give up those other picks. Give up all your picks. I care. Give it good. Give me less that I have to pay attention to over those 3 days of the draft. Just torture
and I also want the same that same attitude with free agency. Like if there's someone worth paying for, pay for him. Don't try to get a discounted bargained version of
Tamara,
that player.
The salary cap. Aren't you worried about the cap?
Do you think the Rams are worried about the cap? They made it happen. They got everybody on their team and made it happen.
Yeah. Where are they now?
They won.
I'm kidding.
I know, but
they're in cap jail.
Right.
They are in cap jail, but hey, they still won the Super Bowl. So
I know.
They won the Super Bowl.
And by the way, we're in Super Bowl contention 5 years in a row with cap jail looming.
I would say more than free agency, maybe. Could we retain Jacoby Myers or Kyle Duggar or Michael Onwenu? A few guys that have actually played pretty well, and take care of some of those guys too, rather than. I just have some trepidation after what happened in 2021. I think if they went out in free agency and spent some money and brought people in, there would be some that work out, but there'd be other ones that don't. And I just think this team needs to continue to invest in the youth and the young guys and the draft and continue to build a new core from that. But
you can't do both. And I think Tamara's point is valid because I don't want to do free agency the way they did it that year. Who's the one that worked out?
Yeah. Crickets.
No. In the 21, there's one obvious one that stands out above the rest.
Yeah, Judon.
Right. What did they pay him?
Yeah.
Top of the market money. Mm-hmm. He's the one guy that blew it out of the water contract-wise. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, he's led you in sacks each of the 2 seasons, and now he's 2 good games away from becoming the single-season all-time franchise leader.
Yeah.
So pay for it. If you have talent that you identify, pay for it. Don't try to get 2 ponies.
Yeah. I don't want an off-brand Judon. I want Judon.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Get 2 nickels. You want a dime.
But to your point, though, I would like them to retain some people, because I do wonder now, do they wish they would have kept, like, Ted Karras? Do they wish they would have kept some of the depth that they had, and maybe
Should I do
things
my
would
Ted
have...
Karras thing now,
Please
Mike?
do it. Just do it.
Ted
Do
Karras?
it. Go ahead.
I haven't seen it.
So you trade Shaq Mason, but you had Michael Onwenu, who was kind of your 6th starter last year. So that wasn't, I didn't like the move, but I get it, okay. But you also allow Ted Karras to leave over $1 million. Like, I think you offered him $5 million, he got $6 million annual. So because of that, because you allowed both of your guards to leave, you had to draft a guard in the first round who's not really ready yet, and you had to plug him in and play, and he's struggled. Who could you have gotten in the first round, Mike? That maybe you could have gotten a cornerback, maybe you could have gotten a wide receiver, maybe you could have gotten
Devin Lloyd.
A Devin Lloyd, who a lot of people felt was one of the best defensive rookies in the league, versatile linebacker. Instead, you had to plug and play a guard, because for $1 million, to Tamara's point, you lost a guy like Ted Karras, who was a glue guy on top of all of that. The kind of guy, like, that's Jacoby Myers. Like, those guys are even more valuable to me than what they actually do, their ability, because I think that they're good influences. They do things the right way. They understand the Patriot culture, quote unquote. And to lose a guy like that, I think that really hurt much more than just losing a player.
Yeah, it hurts even more to me now. And I think I'm somebody who's like, all right, well, let's just kind of see, even though I had feelings. But you just get to this point in the season and you see how much they need at key positions. And you're like, really? Like, we had to invest a first round. Like, you could use a receiver, you could use a linebacker, you could use a cornerback. I mean, there's so many positions that you would just love to have an impact guy, similar to the way you had Mac Jones the year before, kind of Christian Barmore as a second round. Just, guys that came in and you say, man, we got some talented players now that can develop in the system. And, I don't want it to be against personal with Cole Strange. I mean, I really like
this has nothing to do with Cole Strange.
His playing style and stuff, but it's just he hasn't really had a good rookie year. And I think, you might be willing to, like, kind of forgive it if he had come in and been like Logan Mankins, where he just kind of plugged and played and everyone was like, whoa, this guy is going to be a player for 10 years. I still have good feelings about Cole Strange, but I don't have the confidence that he's going to be a plus starter for the next 10 years. I mean, he very well might be, but there are still a lot of questions about him that you really wouldn't want to have on a first-round pick. You'd rather have excitement at a position of real need that can make an impact in the league as it's currently played.
You don't think the Ted Karras had undertones of Tom Brady to it? It was both of their decisions. He wanted to leave, but they also didn't want to pay him the money. You don't think there was any of that going on?
So I'll tell you something about Ted. You want me to tell you something about Ted Karras? I'm going to give you a little, just based on things that I've heard.
Paul's got the tea.
Just things that I've heard.
As the kids would say.
They originally offered him $5 million a year. And then he went and talked to, that was as, like, that tampering period is opening.
Yeah.
So he goes out for Cincinnati and they offer him $6 million. When he came back to them, he said, no, the offer's down to $4 million now.
Oh, God.
Because you went out and hit free agency, so the number dropped. Now, I can't tell you with certainty that that's true, but I've had a couple of people tell me that that's how that went down.
I've seen a lot of negotiations. I worked at a talent agency in Beverly Hills for a long time, but I have never seen anything like that before.
I had a guy from AT&T customer service tell me once that the $15 fee he was willing to waive, he was going to reinstate because I was being such a dick on the phone. I'm like, you already waived it. How can you put it back on there?
Nope, it's back.
I'm asking a legitimate question here.
I can
I'm
totally
a nice
see
guy.
that happening to you.
You annoyed me. Called the annoying fee.
No. Now it's down to 4. Why? You left.
You
got on a plane.
You talked to another team?
It's a fluid charge. We'll figure it out at the end. What you actually owe.
It's
You're up, you're down. You don't really know.
It's
at the end, he's like,
it's a punishment. I'm being punished?
It's got one of those counter calculators, like.
That is. I hope it's not true, Paul. Something tells me it's true.
Yeah, and I heard
the fact that you've heard it.
There's
from
a similar
multiple.
story about David Andrews too.
Oh, yes. Oh, the David Andrews one I absolutely heard.
Okay,
I'm not saying from who, but
if we offer it to you, you better take it. Not going to be there forever.
Connect the dots. Brandon in Atlanta. Go ahead, Brandon.
Happy New Year's, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right. Glad to see you on the show, Tamara. I am a fan. And I really had basically a question. So do you guys think that with Pierre and Kevin being up, and I don't know what Damian, it looks like he's active. I just saw the inactive.
Yes, Damian Harris is playing today. Kevin Harris is not.
Down.
Oh, okay. Well, do you think there's any chance with the Raiders debacle and the fumble last week that Mondre might be used a little less, might be in the doghouse a little bit? Or do you think with us trying to make this playoff push, which I'm not going to lie, I'm Jim Moore with it. I personally would rather not, but that's neither here nor there. Do you think that we're still going to use him as much as we need to? Also, I read he said he was like worn down, so I'm just trying to gauge like what do y'all think his usage will be today.
I don't think they can afford to put him in the doghouse.
No, and he's like your best player. I mean, I think you got to continue to ride him. I do have, maybe foolish optimism that Damian Harris is going to be a little bit fresh. I mean, he's been out for a while, but I think it's still going to probably be primarily Ramondre. But
I think it'll be less of a doghouse thing. Yeah, and I think him talking about it this week, Stevenson. I mean, him talking about being a little bit worn down.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you'll see a little bit more of a split with those two. And I agree with Mike. I think there's a chance that you get a little bit fresher version with Damian Harris.
And I mean, pending free agent too. So I mean, I'm sure Damian Harris is coming in this game. Would love to have a nice couple of games to kind of set the table for him for the offseason.
Deuce, the cockeyed optimist here on New Year's Day. How about that?
I was in South Pacific actually.
Oh, right.
I did. I was Luther Billis. The head
always
CB.
chewing basil nuts. Boom, boom, boom.
That was my song. I had a solo. I had a solo in that song. Yeah.
Brent in Vermont. Hi. What? Happy talk.
Keep talking. Happy talk. Talk about things you like to do. You got to have a dream. I got to do the whole thing.
Good afternoon, y'all.
Oh, sorry, Brent. Yes, go ahead.
How you guys doing?
Really good.
Just sang.
Great to hear. God, I can't lie. Just to add on from the last two calls, I can't stand when people are saying they'd rather not see us to the playoffs. Like, none of those guys in that locker room are like, oh, yeah, well, maybe we'll get a better draft pick and we'll do better next year if we just throw these two games. No, those guys are trying to go out there and win every game. I want to see us get a win every.
Well, no one asked what
the
no one asked what the players' mindset was. I mean, obviously the players are going to play.
Yeah.
Like, what player? What, you think Devin McCourty cares about their draft picks next year? It could be his last home game.
I don't know about every player. Do you think Trent Brown really wants to go to the playoffs? I don't know. There's certain guys sometimes where I question their, how much they really want to be out there. But I would say the overwhelming majority would rather go play in the playoffs. And look, Brent, from a fan perspective, I get it.
Yeah, I get both sides from a fan perspective. I get Brent's perspective too. But I want to win every game I can.
Well, that's just it. From a fan perspective, it's obnoxious to have the mindset of a fan and be like, I'd rather not even go to the playoffs. Oh, shut up. You've been a fan of a team that has gone to the playoffs.
I'm not going to lie. If they win today and lose next week and make the playoffs, I'd rather not go to the playoffs.
I kind of with Paul.
If you win them both, and you earn your way in, then I'm all for it. If you lose and just everybody else loses too, and you happen to win by a technicality at 8 and 9, I'm not really here for that.
Well, there you go, Brent.
I just think it's a little bit spoiled. I mean, I'll be the first.
It's not spoiled at all.
It's spoiled.
It's got nothing to do with spoiled.
It is spoiled.
I don't think teams that don't win more games than they lose should be in the playoffs.
Well,
the NFL has ruined it. The NFL has ruined the competitive balance
30 years
with these extra wild card games. Like it's to me. I got in an argument with Fred about this. He loves it, of course, because the Patriots are alive.
More football.
More football. It's bad. It's just bad football. It's not like anything that anybody wants to watch.
I agree, but I also I have enough years spent rooting for a team that is more likely to miss the playoffs than make the playoffs to understand that it's not something that should be taken for granted, even if you backdoor your way in and don't really belong there. Yeah. Take it if you're going. Be grateful.
And I get that. Like Jacksonville, Detroit,
Get in.
I'll
Just
take it
get
at
in.
8-9.
Yeah.
If I can get in, I'll take it.
Right.
But I'm never there.
I think my mindset is like, I'd just like to win today so there's some kind of meaning for next week, that it's kind of interesting. I don't really have any illusions about winning next week on the road in Buffalo. Like that would be a really, really tall task, especially with some of the injuries. But to win today, to get to break the win streak against the Dolphins, you know.
He's got all his scripts over here.
I got a bunch of stuff. I'm all fired up now because Deuce just
Deuce
brought
just
it
got
home.
him all excited.
Well, Deuce just brought it home. Win
Mike
today
tends
so
to do
next
that.
week means something. How about that?
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, that was like my whole key. Don't let up.
I don't
My
remember.
whole key was that.
That's it. That doesn't. You don't let up is not what Deuce just said.
But when I described it, that's what I said.
Well, if you let me talk long enough, I can make anything. I can make the camels and the mammals make it sound like just win today.
I'm over you.
Hey, Patriots fans. I'm here to tell you. I'm not reading this. I'm here to tell you about NFL All Day, where all your favorite Patriots highlights become digital video collectibles called
Moments.
Not only can you buy and sell them on a secure marketplace full of thousands of NFL fans, you can use them to compete in epic game day challenges. Wow. Check it out. Find some moments from all your favorite Patriots players on NFLAllDay.com.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
$1 million? For picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
Every play, every pass, every performance is perfected on the training field, producing critical data that's analyzed, measured, and studied. Acronis keeps that data safe and ensures it's there to use whenever and wherever it's needed.
The network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com. Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I like the song even better now. I love Big Boss Tones guy.
Oh, you really now?
I got some friends.
Now that was kind of dickish.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
My only guess was that you were not a middle child.
I'm
That's-
not.
Yeah.
But then you said you're either I'm an only child or
I'm going to say youngest.
Oldest or youngest?
No.
Oldest?
I'm the oldest of 4.
He said that. He said you're
He
either
said-
oldest or youngest.
He said only child, youngest, or middle.
Yeah,
No.
I went with look, there's 4 possibilities.
Mhm.
I went with the other 3. I said the only thing you are not is a middle child.
Mm.
Yeah.
You are far too loved, as is Deuce.
I'm
You're
oldest.
Oldest. Paul, middle.
I do
Jan
believe
Brady.
in only child syndrome. I can
Marsha,
easily tell when someone is an only child.
Yeah, I wouldn't have you picked for.
I have
child
a
syndrome is real.
cousin who's an only child, and he is the least only child person that I know. Every other only child I know is exactly that stereotype. My cousin, one of my best friends, like he's so like atypical, like not spoiled at all, not entitled at all.
Oh.
But every other only child I know is kind of like got a little of that.
That's well.
Like the world revolves around me.
I don't necessarily want to go down that road. There may be many only children listening right now.
Well, see, sometimes Paul gets in trouble with his big mouth. I mean, these things happen.
Hey, we want to thank Dunkin, which I absolutely crushed my iced coffee today, as I always do. But it's gone. It's always game on with Dunkin. That's why grabbing a coffee is the most important game day ritual, because the best call for football is Dunkin, the official coffee of the New England Patriots. America runs on Dunkin. Back to the phones. William in Philadelphia. What?
Willem and Philem.
Okay.
Sorry, well, gentlemen, ladies, how y'all doing?
Hi.
Oh, I'm all right.
Hey, Will.
I'm a little
Happy New
confused.
Year to everybody.
Happy New Year. Also, is it Happy New Year or Happy New Year's? Because I hear both. Like, is it plural or is it one?
I think if you're saying it on New Year's Eve, people will say Happy New Year's, and it's kind of like
Eve.
The Eve is just kind of included, but not set. But today we say Happy New Year.
I think New Year's Eve, the years is possessive to Eve.
Okay.
It's the Eve. It
I'm
belongs
just saying,
to the New Year.
But you would say Happy New Year's to
Right?
somebody on New Year's
It's
Eve.
the same with New Year's Day.
No, it's
Yes.
Oh.
Right.
Happy New
It's
Year.
a possessive,
Happy
right,
New
Matt?
Year.
Yeah. See? Marines.
We're gonna go with Happy New Year.
Correct. I think that's proper.
Next. Oh, did you have any other questions, William? Or are we done?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I had a question. It's a kind of question for Paul.
Uh-oh.
Paul, I know everybody's tick about far as Mac Jones and whatnot, but for some reason you the one that interests me more than any of them, because no one knows what you feel about Mac. I don't think you sold on Mac, even regardless of...
I am not sold. I'm absolutely not sold on Mac. You have read that properly.
Right. Do you... So let me ask you this. Would you move on from Mac? Because I don't think Bill Belichick is sold on him either.
This year, would I move on? No. I would give him a third year under normal circumstances in terms of coaching.
Okay.
But if it doesn't look that much better next year, I'd be ready to move on then.
Yeah.
I'm with you all the way.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Fair. Good.
Take care, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Happy New Year. Singular. Question here from Nick in Idaho. Am I wrong to think that without Marcus Jones, we don't have a good shot to win? Marcus has been used everywhere, and his production will be missed.
It's a buzzkill. I mean, you'd love to have him. I mean, it's just
He's
fun to watch.
I mean,
Finishing each other's sentences.
I don't
that was
finishing
cute.
each other's sentences.
That was really cute.
But I mean, I think just when you look at the injuries that the Dolphins have, I think that
So
they
sad.
have enough
I'd rather
to
have the
offset.
Patriots injury list than the Dolphins.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
no question disappointing not to see him out there, and just strange because he finished the game. He said he got the wind knocked out of him when he jumped on that fumble recovery. So just kind of one of those that pops out of nowhere. Like the next day, kind of like what happened with Tua. He didn't even realize it during the game.
Yeah, I think that he provides that spark, that bright spot, that kind of.
It's just so fun.
Yeah.
It just brings the joy to watch. I mean, we go back to talking about guys that are going to put butts in seats, and he seems like one of those guys.
Chad in Atlanta says, if Bill being fired is not a realistic option in the near future, how likely is it that Kraft will take some of the reins away from Bill when it comes to GM decisions? The team is in a bad spot because Bill no longer has Brady to cover up for his hack job free agency moves or drafts when he takes chances on players like Cole Strange.
I could see Mr. Kraft voluntelling him to hire an offensive coordinator for sure.
Voluntelling?
Voluntelling. That's a new word.
So do you think you'd like to bring a new offensive coordinator in?
Yeah. Like, I could see that happening where he's like, okay, look, I let you have your year where you did your trial and error situation, but, you know, here's what we are going to do moving forward. I don't see it being posed as a question.
I say no way. And the only thing is that, and I don't even see it coming to this, the rest of the season plays out much like it has, with either a couple of losses or a win and a loss, and you miss, and the offense doesn't look good. How does Bill, if he has any sense of
reality
at all, stick with what he has coaching-wise? Personnel-wise, I agree. It's still an issue, and there are things that probably shouldn't have to be changed, but I don't think he would go for that. I think Robert knows that if he does ask him to do that, he runs the risk of losing him as head coach also.
Yeah, but that's a risk that you need to take, because you can't have it come back the same way.
Coaching-wise, I don't think there's any way Bill brings it back the same way.
Okay, but that's what you have to hope for.
Yeah.
Because if Robert Kraft has to sit down with Bill and say, Bill, we tried the unconventional way and it didn't work. We need to do something different. And Bill reluctantly does something different. It ain't going to work. Bill has to want to change this for it to work. And you're convinced that he would want to change it, Hardy?
I can't. I don't see him being that out of touch with the reality. Do you think there's a chance that he just wants to run it back, if he's forced to do otherwise, he does so begrudgingly?
I think there's a chance. Yes,
I think there's a chance, but I totally hear what Hardy's saying, and I think you're speaking for the great majority of people that have kind of chimed in. It's like we're not ready to move on, but we need him to acknowledge what is obvious, in that this offense this year, based on how he reconfigured it, was below the line of acceptability, below the line of being able to produce against good teams. I mean, so. It's just how do we get to the point where you can beat good teams again? How do you get to the point where you can be in the conversation of those top AFC teams? I just think everybody's worried that he's going to be like, well, I thought it was okay. But it's so glaring. And maybe last year you could get away. Like if the offense had kind of come out of this season as they had last year, where they were like kind of middle of the pack, and they were, all right, they were okay. Then, all right, I could see that might be a little bit closer to happening, of that Bill be like, well, we did some okay things. But this, to me, is just so far below the line that you have to make some changes.
I just worry. Sorry, go ahead, Tamara.
I worry that it's so much of the blame could be placed on like execution and ball security and like personnel.
Versus, that's it, right? Well,
so like
they just played the way we wanted. We would have been fine.
Exactly.
And for anyone that thinks that that's like foolish and there's no chance of that,
I hear it.
Hasn't listened to Bill Belichick for 25 years.
Yeah.
And this is the guy who, when he had the greatest quarterback ever, was anonymously quoted as, we could do it with like the 15th quarterback. Like we don't need him.
But you know what? Here's the scary thing, Paul. For the losses against Vegas and again last week, there's actually something to it.
Yeah.
Had they just not lost their minds, two players in particular, at the end of the Raiders game, and had Ramondre not fumbled at the end of the game last week.
You can deceive yourself into thinking you're good.
No,
absolutely.
You can deceive yourself into thinking that execution factored in heavily to two big losses.
Well, and I'll say beyond that, like, even if Bill acknowledges that Patricia wasn't ready to do it, you don't think there's a chance that he's saying, yeah, he's getting it. It's coming. It's getting better. Next year, he'll be better. He'll have a better feel for play calling and whatnot, and he'll have a better grasp of what we're doing. Like, I worry about those things.
Right. Well, don't you think that's what the plan was in success, was that they were going to build a new offense with Matt Patricia kind of at the helm, and there were going to be some growing pains, but him and Mac are going to be together, and it's going to be like Brady and McDaniels, and you have your quarterback and your offensive coordinator, and we're going to nurture this relationship, like all that stuff you can imagine.
We had a whole like hypothetical role playing deal with during the course of the week.
Yeah, it was sexy.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, you got to keep things fresh.
I was Bill selling the whole, like, let's run it back.
He did a good job too. It
was
terrifying.
I don't think it, but I I don't think it
Because-
was
because Paul made it seem
terrifying. No,
Yes.
terrifying in its
plausible.
accuracy.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think the way I unfolded it, I don't think is completely ludicrous. I think he could think that way.
Do you think that with better personnel, so if they went out and they got some guard help, tackle help, etc., maybe got a wide receiver, number one wide receiver, potentially, retained all the people like Jacoby Myers.
There's a lot of moves.
Yeah. So if all that happened,
Yeah.
but the coaching stayed the same, would it be better or would it be the same?
Maybe like one game better. Maybe
Well,
one win
I mean,
better.
I think they're more talented than they've produced on the field this year. So it's hard for me to say, I think it would be better because I think they've underperformed this year. And why do I think that another set of guys wouldn't underperform
I'd need to
too?
know how Mac Jones feels about it. Is he just going to refuse to accept it? Because if he does, then it doesn't matter. You could have Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and DeAndre Hopkins. They ain't going to get any better if he doesn't think that the guy calling plays is worth listening to. Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out like where the communication issues are messing up too. I mean, even like so Mike and I ran into each other in the hallway and he's like, "Whoa, we're like guys running into each other on routes like in the Patriots games." Like why is that still happening with 2 games left in the season? Like what's going on?
I just think it's like a lot of these things I feel like are symptomatic, and you talk about just the sloppiness and the mistakes, and it's like whack-a-mole with things. And we talked a little bit about the 2009 season of the famous kind of quote, "I can't get these guys to play the way I want." And I go back to that season a little bit. I think about their game in Denver where I think it was in overtime where they fumbled the snap twice. So I think like these teams, it's when it's not quite right, and there are things that are not jiving, whether it's coaching, whether it's the players executing, whatever it is. It all starts to rear its head in all these different ways of not being able to execute at the end of the game, or critical 4th down and we need this and there's a false start. Like just those mental lapses that they've had throughout the season. I just think it's symptomatic overall of the team. Look at 2009 after that season, you went out, you got Gronk, you got McCourty, you went out and got players that kind of changed things and started to lay the new path forward. And I hope that
and
that's
I think
what they
you can do it that fast too. I think now the big X factor will be, what does Mac Jones look like?
100%.
But I do think you can get youthful talent in the draft and make wise free agent additions. Like they don't have to be mutually exclusive.
No, to me, what it boils down to is what type of changes are you making coaching wise? Because I believe this for most things in life, half measures will avail you nothing.
Yeah.
And if some of these guys are left over and sniffing around the edges or even up in the booth, helping out,
rubbing their petter ass hand on hand, bucking for a promotion,
interjecting 2 cents. Nope, gone. I don't know any of these other guys. Good. Get new guys in here. Well, then we're going to change everything. Good.
Yeah.
You're good enough. You've been around this game for 40 years. You know how to handle a new staff and a new offense. Everything has to change. Not you. And you know what? Count yourself lucky.
So it could be interesting.
I mean, seriously, that's what I think it needs to come down to. You know what? You can still be in charge of everything. You're the head coach, and you're the general manager, all this stuff.
Well, he's not. He's not ceding any of his power.
No.
Like I know you said that right off.
All these other guys gone.
Yeah.
And if you think I'm joking, come back to me with your idea to keep this person in place, but change your. Nope, gone.
Well,
gone.
And it could work out pretty easily for Bill too in that regard if he's sort of quote unquote forced to make some changes with his coaching staff. If Gerard Mayo leaves, like a lot of people think he will, whether it's for a head coaching job or not, that I think easily opens the door for him to give Patricia that easy out and just move him back to defense.
Yeah.
And have him be the defensive coordinator, whether it's name or not. You can continue this ridiculous charade of not having a named coordinator. But now just pair him with Steve Belichick. They get along famously.
Yeah,
those two.
So fight over who calls plays, but that's all right.
So let them do that, and now you have whether it's Bill O'Brien or somebody else come in on offense. At least you've done it without it making it look like it was anything bad.
Matt, let's talk to TJ before we do the over-unders. TJ in New Jersey, what do you got for us, buddy?
Exactly what you guys were just talking about. I was going to ask you if Mayo leaves, if you thought they'd move Patricia over, but I also was wondering whether you think maybe Mayo takes Steve or Brian with them so that these kids could start, growing their own coaching trees.
Yeah, no, Mayo's not doing that.
Shadow of the dad on them.
I'd be stunned.
Well,
but maybe somebody like Pellegrino or one of the guys that been around. I mean, it's possible.
Why not, though, Paul? I mean, if Steve Belichick really wants to be a head coach in this league down the road, he's going to have to do it from outside of the umbrella of his dad being the head coach. Why not? Why not go do it with a friendly like Gerard Mayo and be on his staff somewhere else?
Yeah, that could happen.
Well, it's hard. I mean, if you were to say go to the Raiders, if you were to go to the Raiders, though, you
don't have to whisper. You can tell me.
I could see that. Yeah,
oh
sure.
God,
we have our the videos up, so now you didn't necessarily have to say that I whispered something to you. We have Ramondre Stevenson on the video.
I understand.
He looks good. He reiterated this week that he really likes getting a lot of carries, that he feels like he gets into the flow of the game better. He was banged up. I mean, I think one of our callers mentioned that, but kind of a little interesting. I mean, are most running backs like that? You like to just get a bunch of carries and really get a flow going?
He's fine. He's fine. They're going to get a big win today. They're hydrating.
I want Damian Harris today. I want Damian Harris. I want a couple big gains in subbing in. He's not going to get the majority of the carries, but a couple big explosive gains from him. I think he could be a difference these last couple weeks if he's fresh and all over that.
I'm predicting a real barn burner shootout today, and that will be reflected in my picks for the over-unders.
We haven't even done those yet.
It's time for this week's edition of Over-Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
Somebody had a good week last week. Somebody had a bad week last week.
Wow. Hardy 5-1.
Oh,
Paul
wow.
4-2. Mike 2-4. Ouch. I'll let you have it this week, Hardy. It's okay. Bringing the season totals to Paul 50-40, Hardy 49-41, Mike 47-43.
I read in the Globe today that this race is more compelling than the Patriots playoff race. That what's happening in the Patriots pregame over-unders it has captivated a nation.
It was great. Great read. This whole spotlight piece.
It's a great read.
Yeah. Spotlight.
What was the lead, L-E-D-E?
All right, let's get to it. What do we got?
Mac
Damian
Jones
Harris.
completions 14.5.
Yeah, is it Howard out, Chubb out? I got to think Mac's going to have more than 14.5. I'm going over.
Yeah, that number seems low to me. It's almost like I feel like that's a red flag number. I'm going to take the over. I have to take.
What does Morrell know?
15? No, because you get those from.
Yeah, I see him on the sites.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you just made them up.
No, he doesn't.
No, I stopped making them up.
Like
Were
that,
you making
like
them
doesn't
up
that
for a
number
time?
seem
My
really
first
low to
year.
you?
Oh, that's great.
14 completions.
That's
good weather.
I think it's a huge over. I think he's and listen, it could be one of those 24 of 30 days for 295 yards, and the Patriots.
Oh, they win.
And the
Patriots win if he does that.
Win big.
How many times have we seen him go like 24 of 30 for 265 yards, and they have like one offensive touchdown?
The yards like that? Not
Yeah.
many. It's usually like 24 for 32 for 198.
I'll go back.
Like last week.
I'll go back and check. But we're all going over on this one anyway.
Minus the Hail Mary.
Teddy Bridgewater passing yards 205.5.
Paul Perillo.
I'm going on blind faith from one of our favorite guests,
Alan
Poupard.
It's like top 3, I think.
He says, no real drop-off. I'm going to take the over.
I'm with you. And this is just going in lockstep with my fast track out there today. A little windy. Tamara just did say when she came back in from one of it. I don't know where she goes sometimes. She leaves and then comes back, but she said it was windy.
She's got duties.
Doesn't matter. I'm still going over.
I'm actually going to play the under on this one. I think I'm gonna see what game this is. This is the Patriots defense overwhelms an injured, an injury depleted team on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm going to go under.
Number of sacks for the Patriots 1.5.
Should be. This is me first. Should be
almost.
Yeah, should be much more than this. Especially there's the Dolphins missing a key component on their offensive line. It's going to go the underway. It's going under.
Oh,
under Hardy. Jeez, I already wrote it over for you. I'm going over on this one. I think the Patriots got at least a few in them.
Yeah, I'm going to go over too. I feel like they're going to have to get after Bridgewater. I think that's a key.
They're going to try, but it's not going to happen.
Not succeed.
I just wanted to highlight real quick, Paul McCourty. We saw Jason McCourty in the house. Tamara pointed him out. I don't know if he's got duties here, but you mentioned could be McCourty's last home game. J-Mac here, maybe connecting some dots.
Because when you said that before, I didn't know what you were talking about.
I didn't even think of it could be McCourty and
and
Slater's last game
Slater,
today.
yeah,
Home
absolutely.
game, yeah. Sorry.
First half spread 1.5.
What does this mean?
The point spread at the end of the first half between the two teams.
It's just either way.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Will the game be within?
Yes, correct.
A point and a half. I'm going to say bigger.
Will it be
over? I'm going to say it's going to be bigger.
Go bigger or smaller?
I'm going to go bigger than 1.5.
I'm going to put you down for a B.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over as well. Well, it'll be tied now. I'll take the over.
You know what? I'll pull a deuce here with no real good reason for saying what he said.
It's going to be a close one. Tight 1.5. Tied or 1 point.
I'm going under.
It's either tied or 1 point.
Yeah,
game.
just going for a tie.
Those
or
are the
1
two
point.
options. Those are the winning options.
I
Tied,
understand. It's a dumb bet, but I'm doing it anyway. Can you just let me do my dumb bet, please?
Okay, just do it.
Thank you.
Number of touchdowns for the Patriots 2.5.
These are just touchdowns in general, right?
Yes.
Could be defensive.
Blow it up.
Could be special
Blow it
teams.
up.
I'm
Go
going to
over.
take the over.
Go over. I'm going over with you, Paul.
Yeah, I got to go over.
And the total score of 40.5.
In keeping with my prediction for this game, it's going to be over. It's going to be significantly over.
Yeah, I think it is going to be over. I'm going over too.
I'll take the under.
Wow. This is going to be fun.
Nope.
All right.
You got Mr. Kraft
Oh, I'm
walking the sideline, checking the troops.
Did you see the condo that he bought?
No, it's nice.
See the photos of the condo that he
two
bought?
I did not see
two-bedroom.
the photos. I saw it was like 23 and change. Though.
Yeah, it's like a 5,000 square foot, penthouse. I mean, beautiful location.
So I was, Beth
Right?
was a little upset that our offer did not get accepted.
Well,
Mr. Kraft swooping again on you.
Yeah.
I will say this, and chances are he knows what he's doing. The man did
He's a
make
businessman.
billions of dollars.
Billion.
As Joe Rogan once said, chances are he's a tad bit crafty, no pun intended. But it is dated. There's a lot of work needs to be done. It is not move-in ready. So there are going to be some renovations taking place.
This Bill Belichick with the refs, keep it fair, keep it fair.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I couldn't. Keep it fair. All right, there's David Andrews there. He's getting ready.
So I don't see any Dolphins in most of our shots yet, but my key data point presented by Demand Science today is going to deal with Teddy Bridgewater, because I think it's somewhat remarkable that this is going to he's going to start today, and this is I think amazing. Do you know today's going to mark the 7th time the Patriots have faced a backup quarterback in 2022?
That's crazy.
And
Wow.
the Patriots to this point, guys, are 6-0 in those games,
Right.
Wow.
including twice beating Zach Wilson of the Jets. Now, the backup quarterback is defined as a guy who's no longer the starter right now. So like Zach Wilson's not starting for the Jets anymore. Mitch Trubisky's no longer starting for the Steelers. In addition to like Colt McCoy, who replaced Kyler Murray, and Sam Ellinger, who replaced Matt Ryan. So
That's
it's
an-
backups.
it's
It's
an
guys who
interesting
lost their job.
Interesting distinction.
That's
there.
amazing to me how many backups they faced this year and how well they've done against them.
But I don't.
That's the
think
key data point presented by Demand Science. Teddy
Okay.
Bridgewater, 7-0.
All right.
Book it.
Is Teddy Bridgewater the same level of backup
Is
as
Sam
Zach
Ellinger?
Wilson?
No.
Right.
Maybe Zach Wilson.
No.
But not Sam Ellinger.
No.
Teddy Bridgewater, and I just looked this up too. I think we talked about his one-loss record in more glowing terms than it is. He's only 2 games over 500 for his whole career. And most of that came, early on before he ripped up his knee. The only success he's had recently was replacing Drew Brees. He went 5-1 as the starter for the Saints a few years ago. He hasn't really had much success as a starting quarterback since that knee injury early on in his Minnesota career. So were those McCourties on the field? Yeah.
I think
Signs seem to be indicating that this may be it. Ooh, you shake it, Matthew Judon. I got you, bro. I got you.
Ooh,
that was me last night at the wedding. I was getting my swerve on. Back-to-back, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Chaka Khan.
Oh.
Ain't Nobody, I'm sorry, top 5 song of all time. Wow, no pushback there. I was waiting
Wow,
for
music
a
guy. Music guy. coming in.
No, I'm impressed. I think Shaka Khan is wildly underrated.
Shaka Khan.
That song, I literally could. I will stop and listen to that song anytime it's on. That's how much I like it.
One of the reasons why Steve Winwood's "Higher Love" is so good.
That's
You
what
know, he's doing
that
the
was my
backing
first
vocals.
ever favorite song.
It's Shaka.
Shaka's
Yeah.
on
Bring
there.
me
Yeah.
higher
I love it. Love
It's
it.
like when
Early
toward
Juice
the end of
fave.
"Ain't Nobody," like just out of nowhere. It's just phenomenal.
Let's groove tonight.
We're having fun here. We're having a good time.
So yeah, I had a little back-to-back action. Went out, got my swerve on a little bit with some of the younger nurses. They were. They were
Did the
laughing.
jacket come off at that
Oh,
point?
the jacket was off, Hardy. It was hot. It was hot in that piece. I said, I got to show some of these nurses what's up.
Did you have the short sleeve dress shirt on
I
underneath?
did not, but there was a gentleman in shorts.
Shorts, but not
Shirt, tie, jacket, shorts.
Bold.
Never saw it
Love
before.
it. Love it.
I like it.
You know, unless it was like Mike Giardi doing a television hit that you couldn't see him from the waist down.
I'd like to see in the short sleeve dress shirt Sipowicz style.
Oh, there you
Sipowicz.
go. There
Yeah,
you
I've
go.
never worn one of those, guy. Never owned one.
Little pocket protector, you know, get the whole look.
Sometimes they work. All right, we'll step aside. We're going to come back. We'll have our Sunday six-pack. We'll also thank Dom's, who is now the official steak tip of the New England Patriots. Dom and Ate the Grill this season with a tailgate box subscription. Visit domsausage.com to choose your plan and get a curated box filled with their quality meats delivered to your doorstep, ready to grill for the game. You'll be the MVP of the tailgate season.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
$1 million? For picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
Every play, every pass, every performance is perfected on the training field, producing critical data that's analyzed, measured, and studied. Acronis keeps that data safe and ensures it's there to use whenever and wherever it's needed.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com. Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
That's what's great about music is it's just a thing that people like and that they can listen to and enjoy.
That's me. I just...
Oh, my God.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
All right. Chastised by Paul to take it down a couple of notches here during the break.
We're in 2023.
Well, we got a little too heated with our discussion here about all things Patriots.
I mean, chastised?
Hot.
Chastised.
I think that's strong to quite strong.
Bring it down a couple of
you
notches.
need a little correction.
All right.
A little correction.
Well, what we don't want is we don't want to peak too soon. You know, much like the Patriots, we want a fast start, but you got to leave something in the tank. You got here's something you don't get a lot. It doesn't get said often enough. You got to play a full 60 minutes. Are you listening to me, Deuce?
All 60.
You got to play all 60, Paul. Right? It's not just enough to go out there and play half a game.
Now, if you think you're going to win,
like 40,
going out there and playing like 32 minutes,
Nope.
you're sorely mistaken.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough minutes.
Both sides of the ball. Here's something else I want to see out of this team today. All three phases. I want good games from the offense, the defense, and here's one that people forget about, special teams.
It's a third of the game, you know.
We are so close to the end of this season.
It's a full third.
I would settle for a good offensive performance. I got to be honest with you, because I really haven't seen many of those.
I think you need a
And
good
by
defense.
many, I mean any.
Look, Tyreek Hill is still out there, and Alan Poupard seems to think that the offense is going to be about the same. You need a good defensive game. If you want them to win, I'm saying it's not enough for them just to have a good offense today, Paul. If you want them to win. Now, in terms of what you would settle for,
No, I'm saying I
agree.
would settle for them looking good on offense, because they really haven't all year.
Minnesota. It's the only one I can give
Yeah.
you. It's the only one I can give you. And I was so sleepy, I barely remember it. Thanksgiving. If I never have to work another Thanksgiving night game, I will be happy.
Well, the
as a
good news for
little
that
bird.
is we shouldn't have to worry about that in, the recent future.
Let me
Anyway,
tell-
the near future is
Well,
the word I was looking for. Sorry.
For
Words
just
are very hard.
For getting
Words are hard.
scheduled on that spot again, but hey, it's not too early to start talking about next year's schedule. How many primetime games the Patriots going to get next year?
3.
That's what I thought. That's what I would have thought would be a reasonable number for this year.
I agree.
We
that's
ended up
that's
with
what I
way
thought.
more.
We ended up with 5, and then we had 1 taken away. I would have thought the same thing, but now I think that they looked at it and they said, "Well, we had to flex them out. Let's treat them like everybody else now."
Okay. All right. Let's do the Sunday six-pack. We're going to get to it a little tiny bit early.
This is the Sunday six-pack, so kick back and listen to my position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring a big stack. Get it mixed, Jack. I came to win it, yeah, this is the Sunday six-pack.
Cranking that old school siren.
Love it.
Somebody had a good week last week. Somebody had a bad week last week. Does
Oh.
that sound
Look at me.
familiar?
Look at us.
All right, last week, Mike 5-1, Paul 3-3, Hardy 1-5.
So I'm out of this thing.
You've been out of it since week 2.
Okay, that's not true.
Wow, hurtful but true.
Off the top.
Not true.
Bringing it to season 2, Paul 49-29-1, Mike 42-36-1, Hardy 35-43-1.
It actually is true. You could go 12-0, and I could go 0-12, and you can't catch me. You can't catch me.
You can't catch me.
All right. Do you want to do a separate side bet just on the last 2 weeks?
Care to make it interesting?
Okay. What's
Okay.
on the line?
Same thing that's
Your
always on the line.
obnoxiousness level.
I don't know. We always bet like a soda or something. Nobody
Buy
ever
a
pays
soda
off.
after the game, Ogie.
All right.
Round of golf or something?
All right, 1 p.m., the 4-11 Denver
I've asked
Broncos.
Paul to play golf multiple times. He always says no.
He has, and I haven't been able to work it out. I'm also not going to lie. I'm more than a little afraid to play with someone who can play.
Big hitter.
I
Big
can't.
I'm
hitter,
not
the
good,
llama here.
and
I'm not
I'm
good either.
embarrassed.
I'm not good.
Not going to lie, but we're going to get that done this year. We're going to get that done, guy.
The 4-11 Denver Broncos at the 12-3 Kansas City Chiefs, KC minus 12.5.
Oh, it's a big number.
Yeah, I think it's big, but I'm going to take it. KC, I'll lay the points.
Yeah, I have to as well. I just Denver, man, that was bad. Christmas Day, that was bad football, bad dumping. And the coach is gone. Maybe they play a little harder, but I'm going to take Kansas City anyway.
You guys going to be mad if I just do as many opposites as I can just to make it
Hey, it's game theory.
reasonable?
It's fine.
No, isn't that kind of why you're no?
I could have sworn that was his theory all year.
After week 1, when I crap the bed like week 1, I'm like, I got to catch up.
Do the opposite.
That 12.5 is a big number. I'll take the Broncos. They
Crazy.
Yeah.
Does look like Miles Bryant's going to probably start on the outside. FYI.
The 6-9 Carolina Panthers at the 7-8 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa -3.
This one I don't think I can go against you guys because, Paul, you're going to take.
I'm going to take Carolina.
Oh, you are?
To win the game outright.
Oh. Well, then I can't go against you. I like the
you will.
I legitimately like the Bucs today.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you, Hardy. I like the Bucs.
4 p.m. the 7-8 New York Jets at the 7-8 Seattle Seahawks. The Jets -1.
I don't see this one at all. I think the Seahawks win this outright quite handily. So I will take the Seahawks as home dogs.
It's a good pick for the Patriots. I'm going to go with the Jets, though. I think they can pull one out there with Mike White back.
Yeah, I'm with Deuce. I think Mike White makes the difference, and the Jets find a way to win.
Sunday Night Football, the 7-8 Pittsburgh Steelers at the 10-5 Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore -2.5.
Oh, boy. Who's playing quarterback for Baltimore? I don't even know.
Huntley.
Yeah, they're at home, though.
What's his name?
I'm going to take the Ravens. I'll lay the points.
Not Lamar. He's out.
Not Lamar.
Yeah, and I'm going to take Pittsburgh as well. Oh, wait. Who'd you take?
I took Baltimore.
Baltimore. Sorry. See, I don't listen.
That's okay.
I'm with Paul on this. Well, you're taking Pittsburgh, right?
I took
Paul?
Pittsburgh.
I'm taking Pittsburgh as well.
Monday Night Football, the 12-3 Buffalo Bills at the 11-4 Cincinnati Bengals. Buffalo -1.
Love this game.
Great game.
What a game.
Wish it was tonight.
Whose pick?
Yours.
My pick. I'm going to take Cincinnati. At home, I think that they rise to the occasion. They did it against Kansas City earlier in the year. I think they do it again.
Yeah, they are looking so good, and in terms of the way the teams look in this final third of the season, call it. I don't know who looks better than Cincinnati lately, and I like them in this spot.
And they got an early start on the game plan, which they obviously went over at halftime last week.
They've been resting up. You know what? I'm going to go with Buffalo. I like everything you guys said since he's playing great. I think they're going to make a real push again this year.
But you're just trying to
go
catch
Buff.
Paul. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, you get it.
And finally, the 8-7 Miami Dolphins at the 7-8 New England Patriots. New England -3.
I will take the Patriots. I will lay those 3 points, and I think it's going to be a good one today. I think we're talking 33-27 for your final.
Wow, that's a lot of points.
Patriots?
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Patriots have to win this one. It seems like a game the Patriots will win. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. I'll go Patriots 24-20.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots 21-17.
I like that one better. I'll stay with mine, though. Good score. Good score.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So, yeah, it does look like Miles Bryant will be probably starting on the outside at cornerback, and it seems like he'll be returning punts as well. We've had some ball security issues with him at times, so just something to be aware of with the punt returns and Miles Bryant.
Before our last email, I want to thank the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts, no matter how you choose to make them. Indoors, outdoors, scenic views, city vibes, solo, family style, whatever moves you, whatever the season. Plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com. Got Justin here chiming in via electronic mail. Yo, guys, good early morning from Australia. 2 a.m. over here.
Oof.
Just wondering, you see the situation in Las Vegas at the moment with Carr being benched. Do you think that if Mac doesn't show some composure tonight, they might bench him week 18 as a statement of sorts? Because personally, I see Zappy as a better starter than Mac. Also, what do you think of the rumors Brady could be coming back to Pats Nation next year if Vegas isn't interested? That's from Justin.
I don't see Brady coming back. I'm not sure why he wouldn't come back. And I think Mac would have to be terrible. I think Mac would have to throw multiple interceptions. I think the game would be completely decided by Mac Jones' ineptitude for them to pull him. I think he's got the last 2 games that he'll start.
I think if he continues to play as he has and they lose and therefore are eliminated, I think there's a chance that you see Zappe in the last game.
Starting or just in at some point?
Maybe just in at some point. Yeah. But I think that it's doing your team a disservice if you don't continue to see if there's anything different when he plays.
Yeah. I don't see them starting him next week outside of, obviously, injury or something like that.
Well, that's different.
But in terms of going into the game, I thought you could have seen him last week. Not during the game. Well, I don't know. Maybe. There was a chance. I'm wondering. The crowd certainly was asking for Zappe last week in the first half.
It's pretty quick.
I mean, there's a lot of ifs here. But, let's just say for argument's sake, instead of a pick 6 on that play, that Jamar Chase reads it just the way Burrow does. He catches that ball first down. Bengals go in 29-0. You don't think there's a chance?
I do.
I do.
I
hope there would be, but
I don't think it's going to be today, though. I think the Patriots.
I don't think it'll be today.
I think you're going to get a lot of points out there. I think we got a beautiful day in Foxborough on this New Year's Day contest between the Patriots and the Dolphins. We're going to be back here to wrap things up with you. We hope you'll join us on the phones and on the emails here for the Patriots post-game show. We will talk to you then. Thanks for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.